think we actually talked about it last time we cast because this was actually several years ago. But I want you to give me like a list of your like top 3 or top 4 or 5 films that you watch. Maybe you guys call it
we're
movies.
back, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Hey, welcome back,
Awesome.
guys. Sorry for the audio issues. We are back, and hopefully you guys can hear us now. But we are hopping into Neeb versus MaSa. So spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, once again, we have the purple Terran player. Give it up for Team Elevate's MaSa.
And of course, again, in the bottom left, in the yellow, it is none other than Ting's Neeb.
Okay, awesome. So you were asking me something.
Oh yeah, it's just a thing I have, you know. Like, some people hate it, some people are okay with it, but I'm really curious to hear about like your top list of films, man, because it's a topic that dude, I've recently been getting into like cinematography a lot. So now when I sit down and watch a film, I try to be a little bit more analytical, like looking at the cinematography, sort of how they've structured the scene and stuff like that. I'm actually really into it, so I want to hear, man. Give me a couple of films that you really like, you know, just quickly before things start kicking off.
Yeah, so really quickly, top films: Scarlet versus Bomber, Squirtle versus MVP, Boxer versus Rain, Don Regu versus MMA, and this series right here, Neeb versus MaSa, Tenchi, because this is going to be the next greatest film. You know what?
Well
Rotten
played,
Tomatoes already has a 98% on this particular series.
Just from there, man, you climbed up my personal ladder to legend status, Fear Dragon. That was good.
Sick.
All right, but we'll have to see how this one goes. This is actually a really interesting development. Stargate opening from Neeb. Nothing too crazy, but MaSa proxying this factory. Because, I mean, looking at home, he's doing a seemingly normal build. Actually, Fear Dragon, we have 2 factories on the map. I didn't notice that. Whoa.
Yeah, this is going to look so normal to Neeb. He's seen a factory. Now, it is a little bit odd that he hasn't seen any add-ons on either the factory or the barracks. That might be a little bit confusing. And granted, I think that was just an early probe scout that scouted out the barracks. But who in the world would suspect that a second factory has been made?
Oh. Okay, this is actually really good for Neeb, however. He's already damaged a lot of these Marines, and he didn't even have the key numbers. The Widow Mine is going to go off, though.
Oh!
So he will clean up that Oracle, but that looked a little bit dicey for a moment. However, Fear Dragon, he's expecting the Widow Mines to not come across the map for at least another 30 seconds, you know, because he's expecting a medevac. But MaSa already, he's got one buried in the 3rd base, and he's not going to be running in any of those mines just yet. But still, this already turns into a pretty weird game for both sides.
Yeah, double Cyclones now being produced. I was wondering, you know, the Widow Mine of the 3rd is kind of nice. It's a cute play to try and deny the 3rd for a little bit, but I feel like he does need to do some extra damage because he's delaying his starport by a lot. And of course, this Oracle, the second Oracle.
That will actually significantly hurt the burst income here for the Terran. As you'll see now, the Widow Mine has reset, however, so I don't think he's going to be able to fight all too much with this Oracle locking over this Cyclone as well. But as we all know, Cyclones aren't really the monsters that they used to be back in the day.
Don't quite do as much aerial damage. I was kind of a little bit sad because I think MaSa maybe a little bit thrown off his game by that Oracle and the Mothership Core because he got really supply blocked. He got fully supply blocked.
Oracle goes down to that 3rd base Widow Mine. That is actually so nice that he gets that pick off.
Really, really nice pick off. Gonna start that Phoenix production now. Interesting. So, when I talked to MaSa on his stream last night, he was playing some games. They were both laddering because WCS NA Challenger is going on right now. And I asked MaSa, you know, how are you feeling about the match tomorrow? And he said, well, I don't know. I'm probably going to be proxying like every single game. I'm like, oh, okay. Well then. So, he's staying true to that name. Even proxying an engineering beta to just deny a 3rd for a little bit longer.
And I really like this adjustment, to be honest here, Fear Dragon, because now Neeb is going to be able to get his 3rd down. It's going to be started there, but if you look at his standing army, it's actually not that very powerful. And MaSa has a fairly significant fighting force, a couple of Widow Mines, handful of Marines, and these Cyclones as well, virtually unchallenged. as he's only got 2 Phoenixes to worry about, and a connection there from the first Widowmine as well. Takes down a Stalker, damages shields, and he also gets the cancel on the third Nexus. So already MaSa making some waves here in this first game with this early aggression.
Yeah, he is definitely getting a lot of damage on. Looks like that one Widowmine is going to finally get picked off by the Oracles plus the Phoenix. Oracles still have enough energy to also throw down any more Revelations on the remaining Widowmine, but man, Neeb really is going to be relying on Photon Overcharge to make the defense happen over here. Well, he's starting to get out a lot more units, but I love what he's doing with these Phoenix. Picking off any of these Marines that are rallying over. He has a really good sense of exactly what MaSa is doing now.
Yeah, so as long as he can just sort of keep the army back a little bit, then he's going to be in a good shape. Now, locking on with all of these Cyclones, still not going to be able to bring anything down. There we go. He will actually commit some of that energy to tag in this. Oh yeah, Phoenix is actually Survivor Widowmine.
Yeah?
Shot. I keep forgetting that. So whenever I fly over one myself, I'm like, oh god, like panicking. But he's holding on. This army still for the start is fairly intimidating. However, if we look at the infrastructure right now here for MaSa, remember he's heavily delayed all of his base tech, the stim, combat shield, and such. So he's a little bit on a timer. I feel here. Like once Neeb hits that critical mass with the Adept, he's gonna have to pull back, and it does look as if Neeb is gonna give chase to this.
Yeah, bring. Time is up, and MaSa may be overstaying his welcome. The Phoenix Adept army closes in on MaSa and is able to do some pretty substantial amounts of damage. And the Cyclone's almost the only units left alive, but the Widowmine hits are kind of the saving grace over here. The Phoenix are going to survive, but they're mostly out of energy.
Yeah, again, a bit of a... This is a little bit of a conundrum for Dragon. Because now remember that Neeb had to cancel his third base, and MaSa as well, just now starting in the command center of his own. So we've basically just... I think it's just going to sort of pan out in a very stable fashion from here on out. Albeit just everything's a little bit delayed.
Yeah, I think I would feel better for MaSa in this situation if he had been able to take out his opponent's Phoenix, or maybe even just keep a few more units alive if his Starport had finished up and he had some Medivacs or something. But he doesn't have any Medivacs out. In fact, the first 2 Medivacs are only just now going to be popping, but when you're up against this many Phoenix, it's actually hard to keep those Medivacs alive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now he's going to start picking everything up here. Neeb tearing apart most of the units on the ground. He's even got these Oracles in the fight a little bit. To find himself another Cyclone. And I love this from Neeb, actually. He's just continuously making Phoenixes because, once you reach that critical mass, like you said, it's so hard for Terran to deal with.
Oh god, Phoenix now camping production, and MaSa doesn't even have a chance to get up a missile turret or anything inside of that production just because the Phoenixes are picking up any of the SCVs that even get close over there. Finally, it looks like Neeb is going to back off, and I do feel like he's taking a pretty nice lead in this game. And it's sort of reflected in that supply as he's sitting up 116 to almost 100.
Oh yeah. This it started, honestly, I feel as if he could have perhaps made something happen there a little bit early in the game as he had all of those units postured, but then I think you have to go, like you can't wait. Because as we saw there, Fear Dragon, Neeb just got the right amount of Adepts, and then he pushes MaSa all the way back across the map into his base, and now he's in a very tough spot because Neeb is expanding to 4th base very rapidly to make up for the late 3rd base, and he's still got these Phoenixes that are virtually uncontested. Yeah,
and in the meanwhile, you compare it to MaSa, who's only just now establishing that 3rd expansion. Finally, Neeb, of course, is fully aware of it, and we'll see when he decides to push out, because he's making that War Prism, which is always the big signal that Protoss player wants to start moving out pretty soon.
Yeah, he's got that golden number of 8 Warp Gates as well, Fear Dragon, so should see him pounce very shortly. And this is very nice, actually, almost catching a Medevac, however, might be overstepping his boundaries, but as I say, that doesn't lose a single Phoenix because he's Neeb and he's just going to pick up every single Marine instead. And again, look at how far behind MaSa is on that army supply, man.
Yeah, this has definitely been pretty difficult for MaSa, I think, this game. And that is kind of the risk that you take when you go for that kind of proxy. You try and go for this kind of weird style of play. If you don't make something happen with it, you're going to just straight up be behind. And Neeb has done a fantastic job of capitalizing on it. And I think that he should be able to just push in over here and completely dismantle his 3rd expansion.
Oh yeah, that number of Adepts, man, absolutely crazy. He's even got the 1-1 to go with this as well, and Adepts are already very durable units, and adding another layer of defense does. However, this is interesting because MaSa does have the ghost, so if he can somehow get all of these units when they come to get the shields, then maybe he can make something happen. But these are so many adepts.
Yeah, this is a few too many. The Phoenixes have done so much damage and even just picking away at the army. There is a double drop headed up across on the north side of the map, but that just means there's fewer units for the defense of MaSa. Some okay Widowmine hits have gone off, but it's not going to be enough. GG gets called. Neeb takes game number 1. It's best of 7.
I looked a little bit diced there for one moment, but I think that was just Neeb's experience and resilience bringing him out ahead. Honestly, he didn't even seem phased by this very unorthodox play from MaSa, which I think would put a lot of people off. But Neeb just, as if he didn't care.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I think you always have to give credit to Neeb for is that if there's one superpower about Neeb, because Neeb tends to play, I'm not going to lie, Tenchi, Neeb tends to play a style that infuriates me as a commentator sometimes, because I say, well, how would you describe Neeb's playstyle? Well, he does things that are solid and he wins. Like, so nondescript. But if there's one superpower I have to give to Neeb, it's that he is an amazing defender. This guy is incredibly hard to break as someone on the defense. And we kind of got to see a little bit of that there.